Today we're going to launch into a series of lessons about experience design. Experience design has to do with how you put together apps and websites and things so that people who use them have a pleasant experience. Like if you pick up your phone and you open an app, does it make sense to you how you use it? Can you figure out where to go to find what you need to find? It's that kind of thing. We're going to use a website called Figma.com to work on these exercises that we're going to do as we learn a little bit about this. What you're looking at right now is an example of what you're going to do today. And let me just show you, I'm going to hit the play button and preview this. We'll get to this in a minute. So I've put together it's kind of just a little mock-up. It's not really even anything fancy, but here is the first screen. It says screen 1, it's got a home picture on it, and there's a button on it that says go to 2. And if I click on that, it slides over to screen 2, and there's a button down here that says go to 3, and if I click on that, it goes to screen 3. There's a button on screen 3 here that says go to 1, and if I click on that, it goes back to screen 1. And so it gets down into the, all right, so what size is this, and how do you set the color, and how do you put the text on there, and how do you put pictures on there, and how do you create these buttons that I am tapping or clicking, right? I'm really doing it on a computer, so I'm clicking them. But if it was on a phone, you would just tap on those buttons, and they would take you to the place they're designed to go. All right, so I'm going to close that preview tab, and actually going to go ahead and I'm going to get signed out of here. Log out. All right, and I'll come back to that in a minute. Okay. On Google Classroom, there will be a handout that looks like this. That has everything on it that I want you to do today. You're going to have to set up an account on Figma.com, but that's pretty easy. It's sign up with Google and things like that. I'll show you in a minute. You'll have to start a new project. You're going to have to lay out some screens. I'm going to show you how to do all of this. You'll have to add text on those screens. I'm going to want an image on each screen, and I've provided some images for you that you can use. It's just those little like icon looking things, but if you want to use a different image, it's okay with me. You got to put a button on every screen. Going to show you how to do that. And then we're going to add what's called interaction, so that when like on your Chromebook or on a computer, you would click it, but if it was actually on a phone, you would tap it, and it would go to wherever you have programmed it to go to. So you'll do that, and you'll test your prototype, and then you got to turn in your work at the end. All right, so let's go back over here. The website we're using here is called Figma.com. Zooming up on it here right now, Figma.com. When you get there, first of all, you will have to do this. You're going to have to sign up. So it's way over on the right-hand side. You're going to have to sign up, so click there. And I'm not going to sign up because I already have. So I'm not going to go through that part. But you'll just click sign up with Google. It will, and if you're doing this on your Chromebook, you'll already have the right account all lined up because you're logged into your Chromebook, right? So you're going to do sign up with Google, and it will have you, confirm your ID. Is this really you? And you'll probably have to agree to a set of, agree to terms. They're website terms. There's going to be a little checkbox. You have to agree to terms. So you sign up, and then once you signed up, it may, I don't really remember for sure because I've already done this. It may take you back to this screen, and you have to log in. All right. Well, if it does that, if it brings you back to here, once you've done the sign up and you have to log in, then you would just click log in, and then you would log in with Google. And again, here it is making me, confirm my account here. Are you really John Arvin? Yes, I am. And so I do that, and now I'm in. And you can see that I've got some projects on here I've been kind of playing around with. You won't have probably that many things in your workspace when you first get signed in. All right, so here's how we're going to proceed today. Let's get to work. I want to try and get this done fairly quickly. To begin with, way over here on the right-hand side, there's a plus sign for new file. And so I'm going to go ahead and click that, and that's going to jump in and get me started with a new file. The next thing I'm going to do is right up here in the top middle, it says drafts and it says untitled. I'm going to click where it says untitled, and I'll just call this Figma 1 demo. All right, press enter there. Give it a name. Call it something. Figma Assignment 1 or Figma Intro or Figma, I don't know. Just give it a name. Don't just leave it untitled. That's not a good habit to be in. All right, next up, we're going to go over to the frame tool. It's way over on the left-hand side, and it looks like a hashtag kind of. So, and you can see, I'm floating over it. You can see a keyboard shortcut. The letter F is the keyboard shortcut for the frame tool. In fact, I'll tap the letter F. And as soon as you activate the frame tool, you look way over on the right-hand side, and you're going to see all of these like presets for different sizes. And right now, it's probably going to open up to phone, and it's going to have, it doesn't have the iPhone 12 yet, and that's okay. So it's got some iPhone 11s, 8s, SE, Google Pixel, Android, tablets, desktops, watches, paper. So there's several things that you can do here, but let's just go with a phone size. Let's pick something out of phone, and you don't have to pick the same thing as me. I'm probably going to do an iPhone 8 Plus, but you could pick something else. All right, so I'm going to click iPhone 8 Plus, and you see what it did. If you look right in the middle, it just put I don't know what you want to call it, an artboard, a frame, right? Now, let's do that 2 more times. So I'm going to go back to the frame tool, and I'm going to click on iPhone 8 Plus again. And one more time, I'm going to go back to the frame tool, and I'm going to click on iPhone 8 Plus, so I have 3 of them. If you press down your space bar, you can drag this work area around. Press your space bar, and then you can kind of drag this around and get it sitting where you would like to sit. All right. Now, way over here on the left-hand side, this is kind of a layers panel over here, and you'll see that I've got iPhone 8, 1, 2, and 3. Well, all right, so what I'm going to do real quick here is I'm going to right-click and rename those. You can also do Control-R or Command-R if you happen to be working on a Mac like I am. The first one, I'm just going to call them Screen 1, and I'll press Enter there, and I'll do a right-click, rename, Screen 2 and Screen 3. Original names, don't you think? All right, so I'm just going to rename those real quick. Screen 3. All right, so that's done. All right, so now I'm going to go to Screen 1. I'll select Screen 1 here on the layer panel, and I'd like for you to do this too. I don't want that to be white. I want to change the background color. All right, so way over here on the right-hand side, there is a fill box. This panel on the right gives you all kinds of properties and things that you can work with. So I'm going to go to fill, and I want kind of a light blue. Let me get more in the, in this family. Somewhere around in there is kind of what I want. So I'm using this color picker here and finding what I want, and I'm happy with that. So I'm going to go ahead and select screen number 2. Now I want you to give each one of them a fill color. Now here's the thing, they could all be different or they could all be the same. Watch what happens. If I select screen 2 over here and I click on the fill, look down here toward the bottom where it says document colors. If I really would like for screen 2 to be that exact same shade of blue as screen 1, it's down here, and I could just do that. I could just click on that shade of blue. Now the other thing I could do if I wanted to would be to assign it a different color. That's up to you, but I don't want it white. All right, let's make it something besides white. I'm going to select screen 3. I'm going to click the fill box over here, and I'm going to keep using my blue color because that's what I want to do. All right, so next up, we're going to put some text on here that will just kind of label these as screen 1, screen 2, screen 3. Well, here's how we do that. I'm going to go to the type tool. It's up here at the top. A keyboard shortcut is T, but it's right up here at the top. And I'm just going to drag out a box on here, and I'm just going to type in there screen 1. All right, now I'm going to select that type. I'll just drag my little mouse cursor over it. I'm going to select the type, and I'll look over here on the way over on the right-hand side, and a text panel has popped up here, allowing me to do some things like center it, make it bigger. I might go about size, I don't know, I might even bump it up to size 48. I can change the font if I would like to do so. It doesn't give you, unfortunately, it doesn't give you previews of what these fonts are going to look like. You would just have to kind of go for it and see, see what they look like. I'll do Righteous, dude. All right, I'll go with that. Righteous looks okay to me. And down here, there's a fill color. All right, so I'm going to click that, and I want kind of a deep blue for this text. So I'm going with a real navy-ish, deepish blue, and so I'm gonna find that for my fill color, and I'm pretty happy. All right. So there, I have some text on there. Now, I'll show you a trick. I'm going to use my Move tool, keyboard shortcut V. The Move tool is the arrow tool. And I'm going to hold down, and you can do this on your Chromebook. I'm going to hold down the Alt key, and I'm going to, here, let me click off of that once. I'm going to hold down the Alt key and drag that text box. Hold Alt and drag it, and then I'm going to do that again. Hold Alt and drag it, because I don't really feel like making that box 3 times. Now, I don't want it to say screen 1, screen 1, screen 1. All right, so I'm going to just get in here, just double click and edit that. All right, we'll get in here and edit that. All right, so cool. Look, I've got text on each screen. Fabulous. All right, now, pictures next. I want you to put some kind of picture on each screen, and I put some things on Google Classroom that you could download and use if you want to. They're just kind of little icons. So here's how that works. If you're going to insert a picture, you go to where the rectangle tool is. It's up here, but you're going to want to click that little drop arrow right there that's right next to the rectangle tool, and you go to place image. Shift, what would that be? Shift Control K. I'm on a Mac, so it's Shift Command K. So I'm going to do place image. And I'm going to go look on my Google Drive here, and I've got it tucked away inside a folder. And if you want to get your own picture, that's totally fine. Do it. Figma and lesson 1, and okay, so here we go. So I want like the home. And when you do that, your cursor is going to look like the picture that you just loaded up. So I'm going to just drag that out a bit. And there it is. And I could size it and all that good stuff, right? I could size it and move around. And I'm just going to set that right there. That's good enough. All right, so I'm going to put pictures on the other 2. I'll go back to that drop arrow, place image. I've got a forward arrow that I'm going to open. That's one of the things that's on Google Classroom. It looks like this. And I'm just going to pop that right there, and you can kind of arrange it however you want. And then I'll go to the little drop arrow next to the rectangle and do place image once again. And I want the back. I've got a back arrow there, and I'm going to open that. And drag it out to get it on there, and then just place it. Just get it sitting where you want. All right, so good enough, right? And if you don't want to use those images, then don't. Use something else if you wish. It just has to be school appropriate. That's all I care about. But I want you to go through the process of putting an image on each one of those 3 screens. All right, now, little buttons down here. Okay, well, here's how I'm going to do my buttons. I'm going to get the rectangle tool this time. You could tap R for rectangle, or go click the rectangle tool and just drag out a rectangle, whatever size you would like for it to be. Okay, now, here's an option. If you tap the plus key, it'll zoom in. I'm going to have to move that over. If you tap the plus key, it'll zoom in. And if I click on that with my arrow tool, you'll see those little handles, those little round handles in the corner. And so I could pull those and round the corners a little bit if I want to. That's kind of your call. And I'm going to tap my minus key to zoom back out. It's just plus and minus to zoom in and zoom out. It's not control plus. No, it's just plus and minus. Now that box can be filled. If I come over here, I kind of like the gray. So I'm going to go with a gray color. I kind of like it with the blue. So I'm going to fill it with gray, but I might come here and add a stroke. Once I've got the fill on there, right below fill is a stroke. So I might add a stroke, and I think I'm going to keep my stroke black, and my thickness of my stroke, you can, I'm going to take it up to about 5, kind of like that. All right. So that's looking all pretty good to me. I'm looking at my rectangle, and I'm pretty happy with it. Now, once again, I could recreate that over here if I wanted to, or I could do that trick where I use my arrow tool, the move tool, and I hold the Alt key and I drag that and make copies of it, make duplicates of it. And I think that saves me a little bit of time when I do it that way. All right. Now, I don't want those just to be blank. They're going to need a little bit of text. Okay, so let's go get the type tool, and I'm just going to kind of click. I'll make a little box. I'll just make it right here, and this is going to say go to 2. All right. Now, the box isn't quite big enough, so what I'll do here is select a corner of that box and stretch it a smidge, and then I'll drop it down here. And I could come over here to the right-hand side and do things like change the font. change the color if I wanted to. Actually, I'm pretty happy with the way that looks. But, well, I might change, just for kicks, I might change the color to that deep blue that I used, on the other. Cool. All right. So now I'm kind of constructing a button here, but I think I would like some text on the others. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use the arrow tool, hold the Alt key, and drag that over, and I'll just drop that right about there. And I'll do one more of those. I'll hold the Alt key and drag it over, and then I'm going to have to edit those. I don't want them all to say go to 2, go to 2. So I'll come here to that text box, give it a double click, and get in there, and I'll make that say go to 3, and then this is going to say go to 1, because that button is going to be designed to go back to screen number 1. All right, so the layout is pretty much done. Here's one other thing I'm going to do. I'm going to take the arrow tool and select, boy, you can't hardly see me do that, can you? There we go. I'm going to select the rectangle and the text right here. I want to select both of those objects. Okay, and I don't know if there's a button for that. Is there a button? No. Okay, I'll just do it this way. I'm going to right click and I want to group it. And there is a keyboard shortcut. Again, if you're looking closely at my screen, I'm on a Mac, so that would be Command G on a Mac, but it's Control G on a Chromebook if you're doing it on a Chromebook, or on a computer, on a Windows computer. So I'm going to group that. I'm going to group that selection. And I'm going to do the same thing to the others. I'll come over here and I'm going to select so that I get the rectangle and the text. And I'll just do a right-click group selection. And one more time, right-click group selection. All right, guess what? The layout is all done. That's it. I have 3 screens. I've changed their color. I put text at the top identifying them. I have a little picture on each one. I've put a button on each one that tells where it's going, right? It doesn't name the page it's on. It tells where it's going. All right, so now it's time to set up these buttons so they actually do work. Here's how you do that. Way up here on the top right-hand side, you'll see these buttons, these little links that say Design, Prototype, Inspect. Okay, well, it's time for us to prototype. That's what we're going to do. All right, so as soon as I go to Prototype here, if I come and I click on this first button where I put Go to 2, it's sitting on screen 1, but I want that button to do the job of if it's clicked or tapped or whatever, it will take me on to screen 2. Here's how you do it. I click it. And I see there's a little like a bubble. I call it the pick whip. That's the term I've always heard in other programs. So I'm going to grab that little bubble right there, that little pick whip. And I grab it with my mouse, click and hold, and stretch it out. And there's an arrow that comes out. And I just want to connect it over here to screen 2. I don't need to connect it to the picture or anything like that. I just want to connect it to screen 2 like that. Just pull it over, connect it, bingo, got it. So that button is now programmed or designed to get to screen 2. So let's click on this button right here, the one that says go to 3. Let's click on that, and we'll just grab this little item right here, and we'll connect it to screen 3. All right, that's easy. And then on this one, where it says go to 1, we're going to grab that little button, and we want to pull it all the way back over here. You got to keep going. Don't let it stop on 2. We got to go right through 2. And get back over to screen 1. That's what its job is going to be, send everything back to screen 1. And so if I select all of these, you can kind of see, you have to look carefully. They're kind of white or light blue lines that are showing you, like, see, there's one right there, and here's one right here, and here's one right here, and they're showing where all the buttons are going to take you. All right, so those are kind of programmed, right? Well, now here we're coming down to our final steps here. Now, once again, way up here on the top right-hand side, way up in the corner, there you'll see it's over here where it says Design and Prototype, and there's a Share button, which we're coming up to here in a minute, and there's a Play button right next to that. It says Present when you hover over it, so I'm going to click that, and a new tab opened up in Google Chrome. Right? See, my design is still over here. It hopped off of that tab and it opened up a new tab here, and it kind of makes it look like it's on an iPhone 8, right? That's kind of what it was designed to do. It puts it on like it's on an iPhone 8, and I don't really have, it doesn't look like a mouse cursor. It's showing me this, and it's kind of stimulating. Okay, if this was somebody's finger, right? I don't know. So if they come along here, if you click on that, it went to screen 2, and if I click on here, it goes to screen 3, and if I click on here, it goes back to 1. Look at that. So these buttons are working. Look, I can just kind of click, and they're all working. Cool. I'm going to go ahead and close that tab. Now, we'll later on we'll get into other things that. There's more. You can add certain kinds of animations when that button gets tapped. How do you want it to go to screen 2? Do you want it to push to the side, or push up, or push down, or there's things that we'll do later. But for right now, this is good. If I preview this, it's working. Click, it goes to 2. Click, it goes to 3. Click, it goes to 1. Yay, I did it. So I can close that tab, and my design is all done. So now, and Figma is one of those things that kind of saves every once in a while on its own. Your design should be saved, but you're going to need to share it with me. All right, I want to see it. I want to see what you did. So that's what's coming next. So up here again on the top right-hand side, here's how this will work. You go to share, and what it's doing is creating a link, and there's things like invite someone, and we want this, just anyone with the link is good. And we're not going to send invites. That's not how we're going to do it. We're just going to hit share. We're going to copy the link right here. Copy link. Boom. And it's you probably can't see it, but I think it'll give you a little message that says link copied to clipboard. And then what you would do is just like what we've done with code.org. You would go back to Google Classroom, hit the plus sign on the assignment, and you would add a link. Right? You would attach a link. In fact, if I open up a new tab here and I paste that link, boom, and I press enter, that should it just brought me right to a copy of the project. So that's all great. That works just fine. All right, so you're going to copy link, and then you're going to go turn that link in on Google Classroom, and that's going to allow me to see what you have put together. So folks, you're looking at it. This is the task of the day right here. A little 3-screen layout on Figma.com. Nothing fancy. Text, picture, buttons are linked to screens. Yippee! All right, let's go try it.